Hello Gemini, it's Marina from the Butterfly Effect, and this is your reading for October 2019, or the middle of. I actually did this reading yesterday and managed to delete it. It's a 20-minute video, so I'm seriously unimpressed by that. So there are extra cards that I pulled out because I did ask questions in the reading itself. I often find they're more of the present and the future rather than what I pull up. I feel mostly 80% of what we pull up is probably already known to you. I don't know if you can see this, but got an incredible sky tonight. Just got to pop it up there. See that? Isn't that lovely? And we'll just slowly back down. Oh, sorry about that. Bit of a bump. Okay, Gemini, I think what we've got here is two single individuals. Very much doing their own thing. The conjoining energy is that they're both on a quest for a partnership, for a relationship, for coupledom, but for whatever reason, these two, you and this other individual, can't really seem to get on the same page. I think you probably had a relationship of some sort before, not necessarily a long relationship. I'm not seeing anything to suggest it was a long relationship, but there was the potential here for real emotional fulfillment, but it just didn't seem to materialize. I think you both have a number of issues that you have to work through. What's coming through for you is what you're trying to break free from is the feline, which is being a bit bitter. Easily offended, a bit brittle, a bit grumpy, almost like your expectations are too high and no one can quite achieve them. What the other side needs to break free of or work on is their inability possibly to initiate. This is someone who does not take the lead in matters of the heart, or certainly where you're involved, because they've come through as a turtle spirit, someone who's a bit of a plodder, someone who's very patient, who just puts one step in front of the other, and you know, nothing is ever done erratically with this person. It's always thought through. They don't seem impulsive in any way, shape or form. Okay, so that's just a wee mini overview. So I've got a hell of a lot of cards here because I did pull quite a few out in the reading. So we're going to focus on your energy, Gemini. I can be speaking directly to the person you're thinking of when you're listening to this reading. So once I've covered both sides, you'll know who you are. And you've come through with the skunk spirit. Hold it properly. Bittersweet and Los Guna, my frog princess. So this is about knowing your worth with the skunk spirit. It's asking you if you're putting your best authentic self on display. It's telling you that you have much to be proud of, and that's something that you've maybe had to convince yourself of, because Los Guna is all about deep diving into your own psyche, exploring inside and outside. She's very comfortable doing that. She doesn't really mind getting into the dirt, if you like, of the past, any old wounds that need to be dug up, surfaced, dealt with, released, that sort of thing. So I sort of feel you are doing quite a bit of inner work here. And it may well be that you've come out of a long-term relationship, or you're someone who has always been in relationships, you know, moved from one to the next, but maybe not a great deal of time on your own, because with the Nine of Pentacles here and bittersweet, it's almost like, yes, you're single, you're on your own, self-sufficient, but it's not bringing you much pleasure with bittersweet. Bittersweet is just sort of making the best of things. I mean, the bittersweet could be in relation to what you are discovering about yourself during your time of aloneness. And maybe it's something that you're not particularly proud of, and that's what you're needing to change. But with the child orphan coming up here, this is conquering our fears of surviving and being on our own. So I do think that, as I say, sorry, it's a bird trying to get in the window, that you've not had a lot of experience either being on your own, or you just don't particularly like being on your own, and that's something you're maybe trying to become accustomed to. But at the same time, you're coming through as someone who is quite set in their ways, maybe not prepared to compromise the advantages of singlehood, but at the same time a quest for coupledom. So, you know, kind of can't have both, but I sort of feel you would quite like to have both. And with the star card here, this is hope in the main. This is Pandora opening Pandora's box here. So she lets out all of the ills into the world, and then does go back, open it again, and then we get the little hope fairy, very much like the Temperance card sometimes feel here. So I think you're fairly comfortable just now. I do think you are, you know, maybe just finding your own feet in terms of being alone, trying to get comfortable being alone, maybe trying to make space for a potential relationship, but you're not quite there. But I do think that you have some hope of a brighter future. Now, I'll just touch on your external energy. This does not need to be a romantic partner. It can be anyone, so do keep an open mind. But this is the turtle spirit with the guide. As I say, the turtle is my plodder. Slow and steady wins the race. A very, almost a calculated individual. Not calculated to the degree that they would be manipulative, but they're not in any hurry. They're just someone who's quite happy to let things unfold at their own natural pace. With the guide, I'm not really clear as to either why you're viewing them as a guide, or they consider themselves a guide. I sort of get the feeling you think you've got something you could learn from this person. This is someone who represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. It can be in relation to finance. I did also get mixing business with pleasure here, so this may be someone that you work with. And I specifically asked, what is the guide? And it's miracle and abundance. So this is someone who's rewarded for their integrity and honesty, and usually financially. It doesn't have to be, it can be any sort of, you know, emotional abundance, spiritual abundance. It can be anything really, but I don't know if this is someone you follow online, or it's a motivational speaker, it's a podcast or a blog. But I did initially go with that, so I did go back to it and ask how you view this person, and there is most certainly some sort of, I think, a romantic interest in this person with soulmate and insecurity. So it's someone that you do feel very connected to. We do have a lot of soulmates, so again, it doesn't necessarily need to be romantic. You know, your soulmate can be your kid, your mother, your brother, your sister. Lots of soulmates out there, but you don't feel quite good enough, I don't think, around this individual, and I think that's why I've got Luscuna and the skunk spirit. So maybe that is what has seen you part ways in the past. You've maybe taken a step back to work on yourself, but you are very much drawn to this person, and are viewing them, or they're coming through as the fairy who was kissed by the pixies. This is my Lovers card in the traditional Rider-Waite. This is love therapy, love given, love received. There can't be you know, too much kissing for this fairy. She's just delightful. She sort of brightens up the room wherever she goes. She's very much admired, but I've got dissipating here. So either I sort of felt this is just in relation to the fact this person's not taking any initiative, either with regards to you or in life in general. This is a bit of a dreamer. This is someone who procrastinates, and it does sort of feel like the turtle spirit, you know, just plodding along, not really in any hurry to manifest in any particular direction. someone who's relatively content in themselves, to be perfectly honest, but they are coming through with the time to say goodbye for now. Something is about to end, and it just may be that there's just nothing happening. I think there's just nothing happening, and they're maybe just making a decision to put this to bed. There may have been potential, but you're maybe both in the headspace where you have had your own issues to deal with. Ideally, you would both like a relationship, not necessarily with one another. That's quite possible. As I say, you do have a strong draw here. And I did go on to ask what they would like from you, and they are very, very receptive to love, but they are incredibly confused about you, about the situation. They see a lot of toxicity here that they have chosen to move away from. And yet there is still a receptivity to love. They would still like a new beginning, but they're so conflicted. At the very point I pulled those cards, which were the woman holding a heart, the door to spirit, and strategy, I got don't call me up. So I really do think they flip very, very quickly. And it's because they don't really understand, I think, the dynamics in this relationship. And I think they feel that you've possibly tried to mess with their head in the past, which has caused an enormous amount of confusion and a burden for them. They think that you hide things from them. I have got a number of cards here with the Eight of Swords, the Confusion card, and the Moon. Now, the Eight of Swords can be like guilt and shame, but I really do feel that they just didn't think this was a no-win situation for them. This is damned if you do and damned if you don't. I don't feel they had sufficient clarity on where you were coming from or what you wanted from this relationship, and it really has put them in a very uncomfortable headspace. They may have withdrawn or become quite secretive, or they may just be, I think, trying to tap into their own intuition to try and work out whether, you know, who you are, literally who you are, what you are to them, why they're drawn to you, when I think you've not only caused them pain, but I think there has been quite a bit of pain, and it has actually made them feel quite ill. I think they've had some health problems on the back of this relationship. You're coming through here as in terms of how they're viewing you as the King of Wands, Gemini, and this has been heavily burdened. This, again, it's all about not being able to see the wood from the trees, being confused, obfuscation, blurriness. It's just, there's just no clarity. And to get the Moon, I get the Moon twice. There's also some fears here. They're actually afraid of this relationship because they don't know what it is, and I think it's only brought them pain. I genuinely do feel that. I do think they're very strongly attracted to you. They will not take the initiative, however, because there's just too much confusion for this person, and because they're a turtle, slow and steady, you know, doesn't do anything erratically. Everything is considered, everything is deliberate. With this amount of confusion, this is someone who won't take action. This is a case of better out than in, quite frankly. And this is your own card, so it's with regards to the lovers, the emotional situation. So over here, as I say, you came through as what you're trying to work on is maybe the feline. And this can be, I mean, your own health, because the feline is a very sickly animal. He's almost bent doubles, you know. His wings are all tattered, but he's just always a bit pissed off. Nothing's quite good enough for this individual. As I say, your expectations may have been too high for this person. Maybe too high for yourself. It's also about delayed completions, in that there's something that's not being completed properly here. There may be unfinished business, or inappropriate closure or no closure at all. Because I actually think at some point, Gemini, you've chosen to blow this relationship up. Either you've chosen to sacrifice it for the greater good, but it's only brought you unhappiness. I don't know any other reason why you've chosen to blow it up, but you have, basically. You're trying to drop some emotional baggage here. You are instinctually drawn either to this person or just towards something brand new, something that you want to feel. You want to feel passion again. You know, the Ace of Wands can be, you know, creativity. It can be a new romance, a new job, something that inspires you, basically. It could be this person, but with the Knight of Pentacles here, the progress is slow, and yet the nose is there. The nose is still drawn in this direction, maybe towards a Sagittarius, because I say she has this Queen of Wands has come through, and you've come through in your own energy as the Knight of Swords. It's someone who I think you're looking to just achieve some sort of balance in your life here. You're not on your path, is what I'm going to say, Gemini, because there's too much imbalance over here in terms of what you would like to achieve and what you ultimately do achieve, because you don't seem to take the steps that you know are necessary to achieve a positive outcome. You literally seem to do the opposite. This is your own energy, the Magician, manifestation, having all the tools that you'd like, or that you need to achieve what you would like. And what you would like is onward progress, maybe with a Cancerian, a reunion. You just want happiness, celebration. You might want marriage, but you want something really successful and joyous here. But what has clarified that is the Hangman and the Eight of Cups. So as I say, this is self-sacrifice. This is walking away emotionally. This is giving up, not trying. There can be a touch of depression here as well. Now, these will either be, this could be the past, and in terms of what's happened is that you have given up. You've been put on a spiritual time out. This is Prometheus, and he's very much about self-sacrifice for the greater good. So you may have felt it was in your best interest or this person's best interest to walk away from this relationship in the past, and now you would like onward movement and reconciliation. You would like happiness again. Or it could be the other way around. The complete opposite. You wanted this, but you did this. And I'm not sure why. Because if that's what you would want to do, what did you want to do? What you wanted to make an offer, you wanted to approach this person, you wanted to start something new, albeit small. But what you actually got, or what you achieved, was the Eight of Cups again with the Ten of Cups. So this is walking away from stability, from emotional fulfillment, maybe from a marriage, certainly from a successful relationship. As the Emperor, you're coming through as. So the Emperor can be quite controlling, quite dominating. This, you may have felt this was a strategic move. But it's not, it doesn't seem to have been, I would say it doesn't seem to be a rash decision, but at the same time, I have got the Destroyer with the Lover card here, which does feel like a bit of a blowout. It feels like a real temper tantrum, that something's really pissed you off and you've just thrown a grenade into this. And the Two of Cups with the Five of Cups. So this again is feeling really sad. Leaving the Two of Cups behind, leaving this partnership behind, and now feeling remorse and grief, feeling unloved and ultimately quite sad. So I don't know the reasons you've chosen to walk away from this, but it does seem to have been your decision. Maybe not. It might have been a mutual decision, in all honesty. So the turtle over here is been on a journey to basically heal from toxic energy, which they have considered this relationship to possibly include. Or they could have been dealing with a Capricorn, or they might be a Capricorn. But this is having a time out. This is a period of rest and recuperation. And I do think they have had some bad health, because I do have my bad health card here. As I say, and I've covered them off in detail quite a bit already. Sorry. They felt bound to this, but not in a good way. Not in a good way, as I say. And they have, because there's no clarity here, and it hasn't brought them a great deal of happiness. So there's someone who just doesn't take initiative, or they have no intention of taking an initiative in this relationship because of their past experience with you. They're very much working on their singledom as well. They're coming through with poverty. So normally this would sort of signify that they're self-sufficient and independent. They're certainly single. I'm not convinced they are doing well financially. But this could also be someone who does have issues with poverty consciousness, maybe does feel being on their own is something that is considered lacking. They're single, they're on their own, but I don't think they're in a brilliant space. I don't think they're in a negative space. I think they've done a lot of healing. And part of that is possibly putting this relationship behind them. I do think they've still got a wee bit of work to do to elevate them to a position where they're feeling contentedness, really, because the bad health card is here. And this was clarified by a number of cards: the Five of Wands, the Six of Swords, the Five of Pentacles, Three of Swords. So yeah, hassle, petty arguments, fighting, internal conflict, just a pile of nonsense. Don't want it, can't be doing with it. So making their way to something calmer, just putting it all behind them, not engaging, almost isolating themselves. They say that that's maybe how they felt or how you've made them feel, but they have, I think, isolated themselves to deal with this separation, this loss, or this heartbreak, or indeed problems with their own health. I mean, they could have actually had problems with their heart, because I do have my woman holding a heart as well. Maybe just the healing of a broken heart, you know, rather than physiological. But as I say, you did come through up here as someone who is dealing with challenges with the Lover and the Destroyer. So this does feel like major self-sabotage at some point. So as I went on to ask what you want from this person, and what you actually want is patience. I got that you want them, you can feel the frustration, but you want them to have some patience. And what you wanted from them is the Angel of Strength and the World. So this is expansion. You want to grow with them. It can be communication as well, because this World card is the World Wide Web. It is it's about being online. It's media. I think you still want something positive with this individual. And then I got the throat chakra and the solar plexus, and I had anxiety at the bottom of the deck. As I say, I did do this reading yesterday. So this is you being anxious about communicating. This is actually finding or needing to find the confidence to express yourself to this individual. So you may not have been in contact with them, maybe currently not for, you know, days, weeks, months, whatever, but you're anxious about this approach and what you need to say to them. And they're just completely confused. I think it's just so messy for them that they would rather not engage, but at the same time they're still very much drawn to you. their heart is drawn to you, but everything else is telling them no, because they don't have enough clarity. There's too much confusion. There's been too much head messing, and I think it's made them ill. I did get down here that you felt you were losing your best friend. So your advice, Gemini, this is actually one of your better readings, Gemini. They're normally a bit of a stramash. Which book is it? What have I done with it? Oh yeah. It's Star Ancestor, follow the voice of your soul. As I say, you do think you have a strong draw to this person. And I think if you do want a relationship with them, you're going to have to clear up a lot of confusion that's been created in any previous relationship you've had with them. Star Ancestor, where are you? There we go. Such a beautiful card, this. There we go. Maybe a star seed. There is a deeper purpose to your human journey. Not only were you born on purpose, you were born for a purpose. You were born to be a bright light in the world, and there are supporters out there in the universe sending waves of energy to guide you at this time. Information and inspiration that has been coming your way recently is not new information, but memories. Your feelings of being drawn in a particular direction are the awakening of an aspect of your soul. You are being drawn towards a road that will not only light you up, but also help you light up your corner of the world. So continue following the cosmic guidance that is coming your way. I'll just take an advice card for my turtle in case if you're listening to this, you're resonating with that side of the board. So what advice, please, Spirit, do you have for the turtle? What advice do you have for the turtle? What advice do you have for the turtle? I don't really need to shorten my videos anymore because I have got a new phone for free, completely out the blue, because I don't have the Wi-Fi that's able to upload anything here, and I only had 65 megabits, but I was using about 100 a month, and it was costing me a fortune. And just out the blue, about a week ago, I was on the O2 just checking how much data I had, and there was a wee offer in there that I just thought I'd look into, and they bought me out of my own contract, saving me £400, gave me unlimited 4G, a brand new coral, beautiful phone, don't know what it is, X something or other, for less than I'm paying now. So bloody happy days. So I'll be uploading loads of stuff. Advice for the turtle spirit, please, in the Gemini reading, Spirit. What advice do you have for the turtle spirit in the Gemini reading? Surround yourself with protective energy. Yeah, as I say, Gemini, this person does have some real issues with you. I think there has been some toxicity previously, and they're not initiating anything with you. So if you do want something with them, you're going to have to address this, because they feel that they need to protect themselves from you. There you go. I do hope you find that useful. Please like, please subscribe, please comment if it was useful. That would be great. I love all your comments, and I'll speak to you really soon. Bye.